Welcome back to another episode of the House Husband Diaries. As always, I am your host, Carter C., and today we are talking about what I have learned after my first two hikes and about 40 miles on the Appalachian Trail. So, as you all know, if you've been following me or if this is the first time that you've caught one of my videos, I am a complete newbie when it comes to hiking, backpacking, everything. I had an old 15-year-old pack, and my buddy just asked me to go back in February of this year of 2021 for an overnight up to Springer Mountain to do the Appalachian Trail approach trail. It's the first time I really camped out and hiked, backpacked, and so what I'm doing is just kind of sharing my experiences as a total newbie, not having trained, not having done a lot of research, whatever. Just I'm learning as I go, and I'm sharing this experience. So that's a quick synopsis. So I've got at this point in my journey, 40 miles or so. It's a little over 30 miles to mountain crossings to Neal Gap, and then they say 8.5 to 9 miles for the approach trail. So I'm right around 40 miles on completed on the Appalachian Trail, and then including the approach trail. And so what I will say in two separate hikes a month apart, is that the first thing that I've learned is that I'm capable of more than I thought I could do. A couple months ago, before I had even started or even thought about getting on the Appalachian Trail, a 10-mile day sounded like an awful lot, and then two 10-mile days or three consecutive 10-mile days just seemed like a ton. I come from a background of playing basketball and other sports, running 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons, marathon, and up and down elevation. I just wasn't really sure with a heavy pack on my back, and I will say that when you get out there, depending on your reasons for being out there, but I find that the serenity of being out in nature, I can just focus in and push myself up elevation. I like to go down more than I like to go up. I know some people say down hurts their knees, and I can see why. Putting on brakes at times, going down long descents has been tough, but I just think the amount of elevation and the number of miles, I'm still trying to, and this is kind of my second my second thing that I've learned is that I'm still trying to find my limit. Like, what is comfortable for me? What does a full day look like? I have yet to, at this point in two hikes, I have yet to camp 2 nights in a row. So I've yet to wake up at camp on the trail, break down camp, have breakfast, and get started and hike a full day, and then set up camp and so what is that full day of a hike for me? I don't know. Is it 10 miles? Is it 15 miles? Is it 20 miles? At this point, the weather hasn't cooperated enough for me, and I have to travel so far to get to the southern portion of the AT that I can't. It just hasn't worked out to this point. So I'm really pleased with the 40 miles, but I'm still trying to find what my personal limit is on what's enjoyable and what I'm capable of. So even if it pushes past enjoyment in the moment, maybe I just need to get 20 miles done or 25 miles because I just need to get to a stopping point and before I go home for another month or so. Weather dependent, whatever the situation is, and so I would say that I'm still looking for that limit. And then the third thing that I'll say is find hiking partners. And this is tough because nobody really knows if you haven't trained, if you're not experienced. But find hiking partners with similar goals and similar fitness levels if possible. My hiking partner for the first two hikes isn't in the best shape of his life at this point, and it's a little tough to go up and down the mountains. And also he didn't have a goal of hiking the entire Appalachian Trail. In fact, he doesn't really have a goal of. He said maybe he might finish the Georgia section of the Appalachian Trail, and I hope he will one day because he's already made it 30 plus miles, and then the approach trail. So 40 of the 85 miles or so, including the approach trail. I mean, he's almost halfway there. So I hope he does decide to do that one of these days. But it's hard when you're on trail and you have a goal, and so you're digging deep and you're pushing because you want to reach a goal, and because you're dialed in, and maybe someone else, your hiking partner, just wants to kind of stop. They don't have that same goal, and their goal is to stop and look at the views or the birds, or listen, or whatever it may be. And so trying to find whether or not you can find a hiking partner that has similar goals, similar fitness levels, or whether hiking solo is the best option. And so I'm still trying to figure that out. And the next hike I'm going to take with a different buddy, and who's in fairly good shape. So we'll see how that goes. But then I'll say the fourth thing, and we'll make it a short video today. The fourth thing that I've learned after 2 hikes and 40 miles along the Appalachian Trail is this, and it may sound like in contrast to this whole idea of my buddy saying that I want to crush miles, or I'm trying to reach mileage goals. But even while I'm trying to hit mileage goals, and I haven't hit miles that I've heard other people are hitting 20, 25 miles, they're doing crazy amounts of miles, and I have yet to do that. But what I will say is, even in trying to hike more miles, enjoy the silence and at moments solitude. If you let your hiking partner hike ahead, or if they fall back behind when you're just hiking alone, we just don't get enough solitude and silence in today's modern society, with all the technology and social media and television and 24-hour news cycle. I cannot tell you how much the silence and the solitude, and just the just being out in nature has encouraged me, has encouraged my soul. It feels like it's a pun, right? It feels like a breath of fresh air. It is a breath of fresh air, but it's just so it's just so nice to be away from the daily stressors, the grind, and I know somebody would say, hey, you're a house husband, how hard can it be? I get it. Thanks for that. But no, it really is. There's a lot that goes on in the day-to-day and in everybody's lives in today's modern society. And just being able to take a moment and get out on the trail, on any trail, it doesn't have to be the Appalachian Trail, but just enjoying that silence and that solitude, whether you're hiking up a mountain and it's hard, or whether you've got a flat part and you're just kind of walking along. Obviously, I enjoy the flat areas more, but even in the hard parts where you're pushing physically, it's just nice to do a good day's work physically, and then have some silence and solitude, and kind of let your soul rejuvenate. So not to be too frou-frou, but I've really enjoyed that in these first 2 hikes on the Appalachian Trail, and I'm looking forward to more of that. So thanks so much for watching this episode. As always, comment, like, subscribe, do whatever you got to do. Say hello. If you want to email me about your experiences, my email is carter@hhdiaries.com. You can also follow me on Instagram, the_house_husband_diaries, I believe is how it is. I'll let you know in the comment below, or in the description below. But until then, thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great day and a great hike.